Today's video is going to be a review of my complete foundation collection. No, it's not going to be an in-depth review of each product, but this is really just going to be all of the foundations that I've collected. Hey everyone, this is Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Lisa Monique Beauty, where we cover all things beauty and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. Now, I originally wasn't going to do this video because I was thinking, do people really care about like the 70-something foundations that I own? And a friend told me, yes, she actually enjoys this type of video. So I decided to show my entire collection. I do want to talk a little bit about this collection. One, it's the second time I've made this video. So I've already kind of sorted through things. In fact, I'm digging through my trash right now and pulling out the ones that I put in the trash so I can show them to you. So I did already film this once. I was looking down, I was going through things for the first time. So it basically was an hour-long video of the top of my head. So now that everything's kind of sorted, I have my luxury foundations and containers and my drugstore and containers, and now I can speak faster. So even though this is going to be a longer video, I will be speaking faster, and I kind of know what I'm going to talk about or say about each of the different foundations. I store my foundations in these little containers like this. You can get these on Amazon, and they come in a 2-pack. I think it's like $30 for 2 of them. And then, of course, they stack up like all my other makeup that I have stacked. So they have smaller ones, which is this size, which I keep smaller makeup. But for my foundations, I like the 6.5-inch so the bottles can stand up. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I am going to be kind of jumping around a little bit from luxury to drugstore. The first group that I'm going to talk about are my favorite luxury and my favorite drugstore. These are the ones that I reach for the most often. So these are the ones that were kind of out in the clear bins. I'm also going to preface by saying I do not go by expiration dates on foundation. I don't even know if some of these have expiration dates. So these were all purchased pretty much since I started my YouTube channel. So that's, it's about 2.5 years ago. So they're all about 2 years older or newer, because I'd say the first 6 months I really didn't do a whole lot of foundation reviews. When I decide to throw a foundation out, it's because it has separated, it smells funny, it's gotten thick, it's changed color, all those things, and I will toss them. But I don't typically toss foundation out just because an expiration date has been reached, because I would just be wasting too much makeup. My final preface is I have purchased most of these to do reviews for my YouTube channel. There are so many of these that I love, and I just don't have the opportunity to go through them because I'm always buying new foundations to test out. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with the luxury. First one is going to be the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. My shade is in 21. This is kind of a fall time shade. It's probably a little bit dark for me right now. I do use shade adjusters. I have a video on how to adjust foundation lighter or darker to take into consideration your skin changing throughout the year. What I don't like about this foundation is the packaging. I can't stand it upright. I don't want to take up a whole front row of one of these containers because it has to lie on its side. So I had to keep the base so I could keep it upright. Really pretty, lightweight, skin-like foundation. It definitely dries down to a beautiful finish. The next foundation is the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. This is a really nice foundation. I remember when I first got this, I was using this all the time. This was kind of the one I was reaching for as my day-to-day foundation. And it is very lightweight skin-like. It has a nice luminous finish. It was extremely long-lasting. I do remember that. Okay, next is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation. My shade is 355N. And I originally purchased this, I think my first year. It might have been my very first Sephora haul. And I returned it because I didn't like the way it looked on my skin. This was before I really realized when you're using a more full cover foundation, especially me, because I have normal to dry skin, that you really have to prep your skin. Your skincare is so important to make that foundation beautiful. I don't typically wear a lot of primers, though I am testing some primers right now, but I really do need a good moisturizing primer before I do any of my fuller coverage foundations. So my Embryolisse, my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. Lately, I've been using the Refer Hydration Cream. That's not as heavy as the other ones, but it's still a really good base. What happened was after I returned it, everyone was saying the ABH was their absolute favorite foundation. They're number one in their ranking of foundations. So I purchased it again, prepped my skin, and guess what? It was really beautiful finish, and it was, again, super long lasting. So I kind of divide my foundations between the ones that I need, all day wear, and then the ones that I just like the way the finish looks on my skin, and I really only need to last a couple of hours. But that one's definitely a long wearing one. Another long wearing one, this is really my ride or die long wearing full coverage foundation, is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. This is my darker shade. This is the 4N2 Spiced Sand. This is when I have a suntan. I also have, it's probably in another container, I have the 3N2, which is probably my winter shade. Not probably, it is my winter shade. It's what I would wear right now. In this collection, I am putting the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation. I just did a review on this one. It was kind of hit in the middle of the pack. This is when I ranked my foundations. This is 2Y36. This is another long-wearing foundation. It does kind of suck the moisture out of your skin, so another one that I feel like you need to really hydrate the skin at first. When you first put it on, it looks beautiful, but after about 30 minutes, that's when it starts sucking the moisture out of my skin a little bit. But it is a beautiful finish, very skin-like, very dry on the face. I say dry, but I mean dry to touch. So it's a beautiful foundation. Now, when I had people ask me what full coverage foundation they should use to cover up hyperpigmentation, I would suggest the Born This Way Matte Foundation. This is a super long wearing foundation also, and it really gives great coverage on that hyperpigmentation. This shade is the Caramel. This is definitely a summer shade for me. This is probably one of the darkest shades that I have. Great, great coverage. So when I get some sun, because I do, because I'm in Florida the entire spring, I get a lot of sun, and then I start to fade. I fade very, very splotchy. My melasma is really showing up. I have spots everywhere, and that's where I need a heavier foundation to even out my splotchiness. Another tried and true medium coverage foundation is the Lancome Tint Idol. I have it in 2 shades, well, obviously, and that is the, yes, so 360 Bisque N and 420 Bisque N, and obviously a summer and winter shade. Another one, great coverage, beautiful luminous finish. There are so many foundations that really do a great job, and the Lancome and Estee Lauder, they are ride or die foundations. I mean, they have such a cult following for so many years because they are beautiful foundations. But let's talk about my absolute favorite foundation. This really is my favorite foundation. It is my favorite foundation, even though it's got a terrible fragrance, and that is the La Mer Soft Fluid Long Wear Foundation, SPF 20. I cannot stand the way this smells. And it is not a just when you're applying it smell, it is a lingering fragrance. And I do have some foundations that have a bad smell, like the ingredients don't smell very good. But this is actually a choice of fragrance that they added that I do not like in this foundation. Having said that, it probably goes on the dreamiest. It doesn't go on like a whipped or a mousse foundation, but it kind of has that feeling to me a little bit. I don't know. It just glides on. It feels like luxury in a bottle. I mean, it's beautiful. The finish is beautiful. It's extremely long wearing. I feel rich when I wear it. And you have to be rich to buy it because it is the most expensive foundation that I own. And I think the price has even gone up since I purchased this. This is one that, I don't know, if they put expirations on, it probably would be getting close to the expiration, but there's no way I am tossing it while I have half a bottle left. This is one that I'm actually working my way down the bottle too. So this shade is 340 Suede. This used to be my old summer shade when I didn't have a place in Florida. Then I would get dark enough to wear that in the summer, and then it got too dark in the spring. It is probably my winter shade now because I don't completely lose my tan. Another foundation is the Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. Another beautiful foundation when it goes on. The finish is, like I said, soft matte. It's kind of a luminous soft matte. It's beautiful. It feels great. Nothing else to say about it. It is a beautiful foundation. Okay, I debated whether this should be in my favorite reach for foundation, luxury foundation kit, but this is the NARS Soft Matte Foundation in Vanutua Medium 3.5. Oh, soft matte foundation, extremely long wearing. It definitely dries down. This one I don't even just put on top of a moisturizer. I actually put a drop of a night serum, my Estee Lauder night serum, night repair serum, inside this to thin it out just a little bit because it is a beautiful coverage. It is long wearing. It's just a little too matte for me. So I do like to mix a serum in it to make it a little bit less heavy on the skin. I did just recently talk about the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I do like that. It's one that I am reaching for. It's one that I have recently recommended when I get a foundation question. Another one that I recommend a lot is the Laura Mercier Flawless Luminaire Radiance Perfecting Foundation. So I did a luxury foundation ranking, and I ranked this higher than my La Mer, but the reality is I feel like my heart says the La Mer is a nicer one. I didn't rank it as high because of the fragrance. This is a beautiful foundation though. It does have a very similar final finish. It just doesn't feel as luxurious going on, but it is beautiful. My shade here is 3N1 Buff. This is a winter shade, probably a skosh dark for me right now, but it looked really good around Christmas. Oh, here's one that's really dark for me right now. This is my Dior. It's Backstage. It's 4.5W. This is such a thin, watery foundation. I almost feel like they're almost like skin tints, but it does cover really nice. I just don't enjoy applying such a watery foundation. It's not even like a serum foundation, which I apply with my fingers. I don't know. I don't enjoy applying it. That's why I didn't wear it. But it is such a deep, dark shade. And I was actually this shade also in the summer. Look how dark I get. I mix it with my lighter foundations. This is a great mixer to make my other foundations work and then keep the coverage really dark and really long lasting. Some of my newer foundations that I've just reviewed, the Forever Dior Skin Glow, and my shade was 3.5N. This is a beautiful foundation. My number one, if you haven't seen my most recent ranking foundation, 2022 foundations, the Chanel number one was my number one foundation. I love this. My shade is B60, and I was thinking it was a little dark, but I actually, looking at it again, I think it really is the perfect shade for me right now. It is also a really soft feeling. My face just feels soft when I'm wearing it. And then another one I'm trying to love. I don't love, but I'm trying to love because I purchased two of them. And Michelle Wong says it's her favorite. And I'm like, oh my goodness, if Michelle Wong loves it, then I must, I need to love it. But I just like it. And these are the Surratt Dewdrop foundations. I have a 6.5 and it was way too light. So I went dark as a 9. And I cannot stand the packaging. Let's see what happens. When I filmed this 2 days ago, it just spooged all over the place. You push this little button in the back. It's extremely hard for me to push it. I almost feel like I need to put it on a tray and, sit there and push like this. It's not something I can put on the back of my hand easily. It is a nice lightweight foundation. It's nice. I'm trying to love it a little bit more since I bought two of them. But my opinion would be, it's just nice. Okay, what did I toss? I'm going to talk about one that I tossed from there. This is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I tossed it because it was separating. My very, very, very first foundation video, I think it was like my first month of my YouTube channel. That's when I rate this one. And yeah, it's just got too old. I have so many other foundations with a similar coverage. It was a nice long wearing foundation, so I did toss it. I also tossed the NARS Sheer Glow foundation. I really liked this foundation. Sahil was my medium 2.5. Yeah, medium 2.5, so definitely a winter shade. It was very pretty. It was very lightweight. I did not think it was glowy. So for something being called a sheer glow, I was expecting it to be like all the luminous foundations that have come out this year. It's not. It's just a regular pretty foundation. Okay, let's move on to drugstore foundations. I love my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundations. Love them. I think they're like $4.99 at Walmart. I have both a dewy one and a non-dewy one, and I don't really notice a huge difference. I should do a split face and really try them. My dewy one is a winter shade, and the non-dewy one is a end of summer shade. Okay, so desert beige and golden beige. Really great coverage. I do feel like I need to moisturize just a little bit before I put them on, but they're really nice, and it's one of the drugstore brands that I recommend to my friends. Another really great, underrated foundation, I think, is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. So again, I have a light and a dark. I have a 315 Soft Honey and a 330 Toffee. I think these were both end of summer, and I just wasn't sure what was the best shade. I think I ended up mixing the two of them. I actually have some in lighter shades also, in winter shades. I do really like these foundations. I think it's a really nice finish, medium coverage. I don't really recommend them. I don't know why though. They're just a good coverage foundation. What I do recommend was the foundation that I wore for 15 years. I think 15 years, at least 10 years before I started my YouTube channel. And that is the L'Oreal True Match in these little bottles. My shade was W4 for years and years and years. And then at the end of the summer or early winter, I purchased the W6 just to see if I still liked it. So this one I just recently bought. I don't like that there's no pump. You can buy a pump. You can buy a pump on Amazon for these bottles, but I would just kind of like shake it like this and then touch it on my face, and then there would be foundation kind of splattered on my counter. And I always thought this was a good thing for foundation. When you can't just wipe it off the counter, that means it's not just going to wipe off your face. It definitely is a longer lasting, natural finish, beautiful foundation. It's still one of my favorite Holy Grail foundations. I seem to have double of all these. I think when they're so inexpensive, I don't return them if the shade's not quite right. I just buy another one. With the luxury when you're paying $70, $80 for a foundation, you better believe I'm going to return it if it's not the right shade. So I have two infallibles. I have the 460 and 475. I believe the 475 was a better shade for me. I don't really remember. And I remember it being good coverage, but I don't really remember anything else about them. So I will say, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, if I mentioned it in my foundation video that I'm not going to show you. I have been testing all these out again, and I am writing notes on all of the foundations. I mean, because I have 60 or 70 of them, I mean, it would take months and months and months before I get to all of them. But yeah, I am writing notes down, and I am also doing little video clips and like naming the clips by the foundation, and I'm keeping a file also. So I will eventually really know the different foundations really well, so I could compare a luxury and a drugstore and all that stuff. So I mentioned at the beginning of January, what type of foundation videos are you looking for, or what should I do with my foundation collection? I did listen, but I just don't have the knowledge to do all the suggestions I had, like the dupes video or the best lightweight or medium or full coverage, because I don't remember which ones, what type of coverage that these have. So I am testing out everything. Look for more and more foundation comparison videos on my channel. Oh, I love this one, even though I really haven't worn it since December. This is the Essence Pretty Natural. My shade was 110 Cool Beige. I did a video with mindless midlife. Oh my gosh, it is not mindless, it is mindful. Sorry, Bobby. I did a video with mindful midlife. Oh my gosh. And that's my life is mindless, but mindful midlife. And Bobby picked out the makeup that I needed to try. So she did her makeup and sent me the video clip, gave me a makeup list, and this was the foundation that she had me try. And it really was beautiful and so inexpensive. I really, really did like this foundation. Maybe I'll wear it tomorrow. Okay, what else is in here? Oh, my number 7 Lift and Illuminate, Mrs. Melissa M's favorite foundation, or one of our holy grail foundations. I do like that. It is beautiful. This one is a serum, triple action serum foundation. It does feel really nice going on. I mean, when I think of my luxury foundations, I always just think how beautiful and soft and dreamy they feel going on. I feel like this one feels really good going on too. I seem to remember that one feels really good going on too. Oh, this one, brand new. I just tried this. I don't even think I've have this in a video yet. The Revlon Color Stay 24-hour foundation in natural finish for normal to dry skin. And my shade is 395 Deep Honey. Oh, did I say what my shade for this one was? Can't really tell if it's 07 Honey, but the shade is Honey. Yeah, and so this one is the Deep Honey. This was really nice, long-lasting foundation also. I definitely got long wear even when I did not prep my skin. I do want to play with it, prepping my skin and seeing what I can do if I'm using a setting spray or a primer, but it was really pretty. I think one of the videos I'm going to do is, how to get your foundation to last all day. And so I'm going to be digging up these long-lasting foundations. The NYX Total Control drops, I never really used them this dark. I use these to add a drop or two to my too light foundations to bring them, make them darker and work into the spring. This is a ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. My friend Cat's Eye Beauty, she was a big ColourPop fan, and so I purchased that. My shade is medium 880W. So this is, I probably would go right now. Might be a little bit light, but I do remember it being hydrating, but I don't remember a whole lot else about it. It was pretty new in my YouTube channel when I purchased that, so I don't remember, but I'll have to test it out again. So my new Holy Grail foundation for Drugstore was the Physicians Formula the Healthy Foundation, and my shade was MW2. It has a brightening complex. I didn't hear anything about it when I was using this for a kind of get ready with me. Oh my goodness, it was so beautiful. I mean, this definitely go against my luxury foundations. And then after I talked about it and was like, oh my goodness, I love this foundation, people are like, oh yeah, it was my holy grail, but they think it's being discontinued. So you still can get it on their website. I am so sad. Yeah, so Physicians Formula, I've just recently got on their PR list. I think I'm going to email my gal that asked if I was interested in receiving PR and ask her about this foundation because it is beautiful. If you can find it, it is beautiful. Yeah, I really, really, really like that. Similar, but I like that one a little bit better. This one is a little dewier. The Neutrogena Healthy Skin Liquid Foundation. This is a dark shade. This is a fall shade for me. In Natural Tan 100. This one also is a beautiful, like lots of skin nourishing ingredients, very healthy glow. I think this one, like I said, is a little bit glowier. It also has an SPF of 20, but it is also a beautiful choice if you're looking for a natural skin foundation, one that you don't need to over moisturize underneath. It's just a liquid foundation that goes on, blends in beautiful. It's not one of those dry to touch ones. Speaking of dry touch foundations, the Rare Beauty is definitely a dry touch foundation. These are nice. It has a doe foot applicator. This is obviously a dark summer shade and a winter shade. The summer shade is 400W. The winter shade is 260N. I do remember having to try several different ones to get the right shade. I felt like, you know, if 260, I think I might have tried 270, I might have tried 230, and then I don't know where I was going, but it wasn't just like a gradual, this one's just a little bit darker. I mean, I kind of felt like you had to jump around a little bit depending on the undertones, but once you get the right shade, goes on well, great coverage, and it definitely is a dry touch, very mask friendly type foundation. I'm not sure if it really should be in the drugstore. I can't decide if it should be in here with the drugstore or not, but it is in my drugstore bin, so I will put it back there. Another new foundation that I have really been enjoying is the Maybelline Superstay Activewear Foundation, another super long wearing foundation. I found this one went really good over a primer to last 12, 14 hours. I felt like just alone over moisturized skin. You got 8 to 10 hour coverage, which my typical foundation is 4 or 5 hours when I don't do any sort of prep. So I really like this foundation. It was really nice coverage. It really covered up my hyperpigmentation well. And then the last one in my front runner container of foundations is the Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation. So this one is probably a fall shade. It's 34.5N. And yeah, I don't remember a ton about it. I just remember liking it. So those are kind of the front 2 bins of foundations that I reach for both drugstore and luxury brands. I'm going to stop this and call it part 1 of my foundation review. My next part 2 will cover some more luxury and drugstore liquid foundations. And then also I have the powder foundations, the cream foundations, and the tinted moisturizers. So that will be in part 2. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.